Class 9 Chemistry, Chapter 4, Atomic Structure and Chemical Bonding. Good morning, students. Till now we have seen the work of William Crook, the work of J.J. Thomson on the cathode ray discharge tube. And with this experiment, they found some negatively charged particles. So students, during the discovery of electron, basically William Crookes made the experimental setup. He observed the sparking. He observed that something is going from negative side to the positive side, that is cathode to anode. But he could not tell what these particles are made up of. Okay. So it was J.J. Thomson. So the credit of finding the electrons or discovering the electrons goes to J.J. Thomson, who studied the characteristics of the radiations that were coming out from cathode to anode. So it was J.J. Thomson who said that electrons, these are the electrons and these are the particles which carry negative charge. So students, till now we have seen some of the properties of cathode rays, or we can say we have discussed the properties of electrons. So some more properties are there. Let us see. When a beam of cathode rays is made to fall upon the hard metallic target like tungsten, X-rays are produced. Now you all are familiar with the term X-rays. Whenever someone gets this fracture of the bones, so in order to locate the fracture, we undergo X-ray. Okay. So basically, what are these X-rays? You see, when electrons they strike, when the fast moving electrons strike some material particle, after striking the X-rays, are certain radiations are emitted, and these radiations are X-rays. Or sometimes, for example, if some electrons are moving with a very high speed and suddenly there is a deceleration of the speed, then most of the energy of the speed will be converted into heat energy, and a very small fraction will be converted into the radiation, and such radiations are called X-rays. Okay. Now this fifth point, they penetrate through matter. So the cathode rays was found to get penetrated through the matter, but here the matter is not the thick one. It can be a sheet of some material, okay, a very thin sheet. So but we found that cathode rays can just go from one side of the sheet to another side, that is through it. Then they cause ionization of the gas through which they pass. For example, if there is hydrogen atom in the cathode ray discharge tube, okay, so when the high speed moving electrons strike the atoms of the hydrogen, they are able to eject the electrons from there. So it means what? Ejection of electrons means to ionize the atoms. So once again, cathode rays, this sixth point I am reading, cathode rays, they cause ionization of the gas through which they pass. Then this seventh point, the ratio of the charge, and it has been shown like E. So because it is electron, so ratio of the charge E to mass of the particle constituting cathode rays remain the same, that is E upon m 1.76 into 10 raised to the power 11 coulomb per kg. Now students, this charge, the unit of finding out the charge, it is coulomb, and mass, the unit is kilograms. So that E upon ratio of the cathode rays was always found to be 1.76 10 raised to the power 11. No matter whatever the gas you take in the discharge ray tube. So students, either you fill this discharge tube with hydrogen, with oxygen, with nitrogen, or any gas you like. But we see when the electrons strike these atoms, they ionize them. For example, if it is this oxygen atoms are there, hydrogen atoms are there, the electrons will strike them and make them in a ion. So what we can say that cathode rays, whatever the, how we got to know this? Because this E upon m ratio, that is mass of electron charge of electron and mass of electron, that ratio, it was coming out to be equal no matter whatever the gas you take inside here. So, and that mass, that ratio came out to be 1.76 10 raised to the power 11 coulomb per kg, irrespective of the nature of the gas taken and of the metal forming the cathode, whatever the metal is there in cathode or anode. Now 8th point, they produce the shadow of an opaque object placed in their path and make a light paddle wheel rotate. It means if you put a paddle wheel, okay, a rough sketch I am drawing for that paddle wheel. Likewise, so if it is a paddle wheel, so if you keep a paddle wheel inside this, what we see that whenever they are striking these paddles, electrons, so they are making the paddle to rotate. They are making the paddle to rotate. So let us see through these observations what J.J. Thomson finally concluded. Let us see. That cathode rays consist of negatively charged particles now called electrons. Okay, so I told you in one of the experiment, you can see in figure 4.2, the deflection of electrons towards the positive side. Okay, so it means the cathode ray is negatively charged. The name electron, meaning atom of negative electricity, was given by Johnson Stoney. Then these negatively charged particles are an integral part of all atoms, because I told you that whatever the nature of the gas is there inside the cathode ray, the E upon M ratio was coming out to be the same only. This number it was coming. So it means the negatively charged particles are an integral part of all atoms. Then that atom can be of oxygen, then atom can be of nitrogen, then that atom can be of helium or hydrogen. It means electron is the integral part of all the atoms. Then electrons have both definite mass and definite electric charge. That ratio again, if you remember that ratio, it means definite charge is there and definite mass is there, both of which are independent of the nature of the gas in the discharge tube. So whatever the gas you are taking, the E upon M ratio is fixed. Okay, so E upon M means charge of electron divided by mass of electron. Now properties of electron. So here we learn properties of cathode rays. Basically cathode rays are nothing but the electrons. So once again, all whatever we have learned here in these properties, that is these ones, again we will be taking all the properties here. Electrons from all sources are alike, having identical mass. They are a constituent part of all atoms. The mass of an electron is 1 upon 1837 times the mass of a hydrogen atom. Okay, so whatever the mass of an electron is there, it is that much times less than the mass of the hydrogen atom. Okay, and in kilograms the mass of electron is this one, 9.108 into 10 to the minus 31 kilograms. An electron carries unit negative charge of magnitude, and this is the magnitude of the charge which the electron carries. It is 1.602 into 10 raised to the minus 19 coulomb, but here it is given minus. Okay, so students, protons, they are carrying the same charge, but protons carry plus charge, electron carry minus charge. Okay, but in reality there is no significance of negative and positive. Why we put here negative and why we have given this proton the positive charge? Because we know electrons, they carry they are opposite to the whatever the charge they are carrying, they are opposite to the that of the protons. So by sign convention, if we have given positive charge to the protons, then we have given negative charge to the electrons. Then the electron is extremely small, its radius is less than 10 raised to the power of minus 15 meter. Now in this box, the electron may be defined as a subatomic particle having a unit negative charge and a mass equal to 1 upon 1837 of hydrogen atom. It is denoted by the symbol. Then in subscript you can see -1 is there, superscript 0 is there. The superscript 0 represents its mass and the subscript -1 represents its electrical charge. Now students, you can ask that it is carrying this negative charge, then why we have written that minus 1 here. We should have written minus 1.602 × -19 coulomb. It is because we have taken this unit as a 1. Okay. For example, if I say 12 in a dozen, 1 dozen is equal to 12 items. So 12 items, I said 1 unit. So likewise, that much high number of items, I will say 1 unit. Got this? So that's why we have written, it is written a unit negative charge. So basically negative charge is this one, but I have taken it to be as a single unit. So that's why that single unit 1 has come, and since it is negative, so we have put negative here. So minus 1, and here superscript 0 is there. So its superscript says that it is the it is the mass. Now you can say that electron is having certain mass. How can it be 0? Because the mass of the electron is negligible in terms of the mass of the other subatomic particles like protons and neutrons. Got this? So here we can neglect the mass of the electron, and we have put the mass of the electron to be 0. But practically it is not 0, because here you have seen the mass of the electron is this much, but it is 10 raised to the minus 31 kg. It means that much small the number is. So we have taken this number to be 0. Got this? Now atoms are found to be electrical neutral, so they must contain in addition particles that are positively charged, such that the total negative charge of the electrons is equal to the total positive charge. Okay, so we know that with certain experiments, the earlier people found that atom is a neutral one, but J.J. Thomson found that atom is negatively charged, means electron is there, one negative particle is there. So if atom is as a whole is neutral, it means there should be same number of positive charge also. And in next topic we will see the discovery of positive charge, means the protons. So students, this is all for today. Goodbye.